7, 6. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm an 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker, change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
We getting started immediately. You already know what it is. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Who we got in the building? Jose Diaz, King Jr., Tay. Good morning. Well, good afternoon. Good evening. Ratchet since 91. 919, King Corleone, salute. MP, what the fuck? What's good? MXC, smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. We getting started early. You know we got the legend Freddie Pendleton on the line, and our guest tonight. We're waiting on Stormy and waiting on Trick Note to come in. But our guest tonight is none other than Otis Grant. Otis, man, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
No doubt, man. Thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, man. For those of the people that don't know, let everyone know who you are.
Oh, my name is Otis Grant. I was born in Jamaica. Lived there till I was 9 years old. Then, moved to Canada when I was 9 and started boxing when I was about 11 years old. And fought for club shows. Then I made it to the national team. And after the national team, 1998 Olympics. After that Olympic year, turned professional, and I had a pretty good professional career, pretty good run. I won the NABF title, WBC Intercontinental, WBC International, and the biggest title I won through all those years was the WBO World Middleweight title back in 1997. That was a long time ago.
So your career spreads over exactly how many years?
I turned pro in 88, the end of 88, and I retired in 2006. But
Wow.
I had a break. I fought Roy Jones, the biggest fight of my life. I fought Roy Jones, and a few months after that fight, I had a near fatal car accident on the highway that left me. I was in a coma for like 10 days, in a hospital for a month. And then after getting out of hospital, like I was, opening a gym with my brother. We worked with some fighters, and then that led me to start training again, made a comeback. And I had a pretty good comeback from 2000, I think it was 2003 to 2006. I fought 8 times. I won 7 of 8 fights, and I became the number 1 ranked super middleweight in the world. And then I lost in title eliminator. I fought Librado Andretti, and he's a good friend of mine today, but didn't know him that well when we fought. He was young, up-and-coming young buck back then. I fought him in Montreal, lost, and then he went on to fight for a world title. And I lost that one fight on my comeback, and I retired after that.
But this was after your accident.
Yeah.
Brother,
I kind of had 2 careers.
Brother, let me stop there for a minute, man. Let me stop there because that's huge. That's huge. Okay, it was an automobile accident.
Yeah.
Okay, now, without getting into too much detail, because I know that could be very traumatic or whatever, but you're obviously over it because you went and had a whole nother career after that. Talk to me about when you woke up out the coma. What was you thinking?
It wasn't about thinking much. Like I just, boxing was the furthest thing from my mind at the time. My wife was 3 months pregnant with our son that we have today, and no one knew. We hadn't told anybody yet. So, I was concerned for her with all the stress that the accident might put her through. And I remember, my exit interview from my hospital. I walked into the doctor's office, and before they released me from the hospital, and they said, "Listen, I have good news and I have bad news." So he asked me which one did I want first. So I told him, I said, "Listen, I've been in this hospital for a month. Give me the bad news first, because I want to go out the door a little bit of good news. I want to leave this place with something that's going to be in a positive light." So he told me, he said, "Sorry to tell you, but your career as a professional boxer or professional athlete is over." He says, "You'd be lucky to be a recreational athlete again." because I got banged up on the left side. I'd broken, I think, 5 or 6 ribs on my left side. My shoulder blade was shattered. I punctured my left lung was punctured from the accident, and I wasn't really concerned about that. So that was the bad news. And the good news, he said, is that you should recover fully, and you'll be able to live, a normal, healthy life. We work a regular job, that kind of thing. So that was the good news I left the hospital with. But then, just from training, being around the gym and helping my brother with some fighters that we're working with back in the day, started training again a little bit, and then one of our guys was fighting a southpaw for, I think it was a Canadian title or a North American title, and we couldn't find him any sparring. So I got in the ring and I started working with him a little bit because I was southpaw, and led from that. A lot of people saw me working with Joe. Our first world champion, I would train this kid named Josh Alcin. He beat Travis. He beat a Don King fighter in Connecticut. We're in Connecticut. I don't remember the city in Connecticut.
What year was that?
That was in probably 2002.
Was it Tavares Cloud?
No, it wasn't Tavares Cloud. His name was it? Was he junior middleweight?
Tavares Cloud fought at No, he wasn't junior middleweight. No.
This guy was Don. It was a Don. He fought for Don King back in those days. I can't. His name escapes me right now. But from working with this kid that fought for the title, Joe Shane Alcin was his name, Haitian kid from up here in Canada. That got me back into sparring. I was working with him sparring. People were surprised that after being out of the ring for 5 years due to a car accident, that I was still able to go in there and perform at a high level. And then I started, feeling some questions about coming back and making a comeback, and people wanted to bring me back. It's a good story. And I looked at that as an opportunity to more or less rob the bank. You guys want me to come back? I was up there when I was fighting, but if you want me to come back, I want to get some guaranteed money. So I was able to, secure a deal where I got some signing bonus money. And signing bonus money, I was able to take that and invest in the gym right away. So my brother and I would have our own gym to train our own fighters and deal with just me, him, instead of me, him, and everybody else that we're working with. So that was my main goal on a comeback, was to secure enough money to invest in our own gym and have our own place to develop our own talent, and that's what I did.
That's a good look.
But then the comeback.
Shrimpy? Shrimpy?
If I know
Shrimpy Clark. Shrimpy Clark.
Yeah, I know. I know Shrimpy Clark, man. I don't know him personally, but I've heard of him. Yeah. He was a hell of a fighter, from what I hear. He was a Jamaican fighter, no?
Mm-hmm. When I went over there to help him, I went to Jamaica to help him fight for the title when he fought for the championship in Jamaica.
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but I've heard stories of his. And there's a fighter that we used to work with. He's training us back in the day. His name was Barrington Francis. That was related to one of those guys, Shrimpy Clark, and I forget what Barrington's uncle's name was, but they fought a couple of times, and there was some today still quite popular name in Jamaican boxing, because those guys never left the island. They stayed there and they fought out of Jamaica.
I want to take a second to salute my brother, the War Report. He says, salute Otis from a fellow Canadian, the usual suspects. Yeah, this is one of our brothers out there. We got family all over. He's in Canada. Yes, salute to that brother. Yeah, yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir. I see everyone in the chat, saying, you know how I do. I like to let the guests cook. I see everybody in the chat. Stormy, the sensei in the building. You on mute, my brother?
Stormy's mic is closed, man.
Yeah.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
What's good, Stormy?
Oh man, it's great to be on here and get a chance to meet Mr. Grant. Watched you a lot back in the day, man, with Tuesday night fights and
Tuesday night
everything.
fights, yeah.
Man.
Well, that
Hey,
was
can I tell you something too? You always showed up, man. You always showed up. You were never a fighter to dog it or anything. You came professionally to handle your business. Much respect to you, man. And I didn't know, unfortunately, I didn't know about your situation with your accident. But God bless that you're back and you know that you're okay and can live the quality life a life that you want to live, you know. But yeah, much respect to you for the entertainment that you gave us over the years, man.
Yes.
I appreciate that, man. Tuesday night fight was my wheelhouse. You know that was
Man, yeah, it sure was.
Hey, I was signed with an American promoter, Banner Promotions. His name was Art Pelugo out of Philadelphia. You know, so he was on that series, and he had a lot of dates on the Tuesday night fight series. So he started developing that series, and I was just fortunate that I fell in on that at the time, you know. So it was a great platform, was great notoriety, good visibility, and I was able to climb the ladder all the way up through that platform, right through the title, right there. I fought Lenny Bradley. You guys are showing right that was a fight I thought I won, but they called it a draw. But you know, like
I remember watching this.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be doing homework. I was watching this.
Being a Canadian coming in and fight you Americans over here, man. I was always, you know, behind the 8 ball, but I had enough confidence in my ability and, you know, my training and knowing that I'm coming prepared. I'm not, you know, you fight somebody in their hometown or in their home country. A lot of times, if it's close, you know, you're not gonna get a decision. But like, I was a road warrior.
Yeah, right. I've been through that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, you said you're supposed to be doing homework, but you was watching this. This was my homework.
Yeah, right. I remember, man. Don't y'all miss Tuesday night fights, man. Don't y'all miss things like that?
You miss boxing, period, because it's not even the same nowadays. I mean, these guys come in there. You already know who's going to win. I mean, Jesus. I mean, why even turn on the set to watch a fight when you know it's not a fair fight?
Yeah.
And that's the problem for me. I look at the fights and I see the guys, and it's like you look at one, you look at the other, you know who's supposed to win. When you see the guys that are popular, you know they're going to win because when you see their opponent look like he ain't got no business in the ring with them, you know, the majority of the time. I mean, sometimes you'll get a good fight out of this, you know, nowadays, but rarely.
But you know what, like that platform was great in building talent. Like right now, like, you know, they had USA Tuesday night fights, they had ESPN Friday night fights. They don't have that anymore. You know, they like right now, if you're not with PBC, Al Heyman, these guys, you know, get a chance to get on a platform where you're gonna be seen, and you know where you could build your career fairly quickly. But those guys, you know, I have to take my hat off to them because they're still grinding at it. Their PBC is on all the time, but there's no continual series right now that you could tune in every week on a Tuesday or on a Friday and know that you're going to see some quality boxing and you're going to see the next generation coming up. You know, I think Showtime, you know, was used to do the Showtime Next Generation. I don't know if they're still doing that, but like back in my day, we had a little bit more visibility and television interested in putting boxing on television, you know. But right now, I think like MMA and the UFC and all that has taken a big bite out of that because they're on TV pretty much every week.
Yeah, and there's something else to be said about that too, because if you notice now, they always talk about ratings, right? And who's selling and all of this.
Yeah.
Tuesday night fights ran for 17 years. And the one thing that they never really talked about but you knew it had to be a highly rated show. It was on 17 years.
Yeah.
All of those fighters that came through that show became household names, especially the ones who fought regularly on the show. That's how we know you guys. This is how, and that's what's called homebred. When you make it available and accessible to the regular viewing audience, because remember, people can choose the right to change the channel. But you had people that were rushing home to watch the show live, or setting their DVRs or VCRs or whatever to record the fights, and it made a difference.
Yes,
there was a brother out. He's a Caucasian gentleman out of Chicago. His name was Brian Nix. And he used to prepare, he's a photographer and everything. He used to prepare fight tapes for professional fighters such as yourself. You might even know of him.
Was they late?
Huh? What was that?
Sure.
Freddie, you said something?
No, go ahead, Stormy.
No, well, he used to prepare fight tapes and everything. And one of the things he would do is he'd have a catalog of all of you guys, you know, your performances and everything. So when somebody was training, they were going to appear on Tuesday Night Fights. It's like, you hit up Brian Nix, he can get you some tapes on the fighters. And not just from Tuesday Night Fights, but just overall. And of course, you had HBO and Showtime, but you guys were like the bullpen for HBO and Showtime, because it's like your frequency of fighting. George Foreman made his comeback name on Tuesday Night Fights.
Tuesday Night Fights.
You know what I'm saying? So I miss that, because what happens is a lot of the talent that's out there today that don't get the shine that they deserve is because there's no platform like that to put them out there. And so they can tell us that boxing is in the tank and all of that. But it's like with shows and platforms like that, this is how, you know, we can feed you to the public. Now that we're in the social media era, having guys like yourself or even present day fighters who are in the midst or just starting their careers, for them to come on these platforms, it's important that they take advantage of that, you know, so they can, again, this is how you get your name out there and everything. So I just wanted to offer that.
I also
that's how I got my name out there.
Yeah, man.
Tuesday,
I mean,
Tuesday Night Fights.
Yeah. Freddie, how many times you on Tuesday Night Fights?
I mean, I was on there so many times, I don't even remember. It was over. It had to be over 10, 15 times.
Cause I know
there's a fight on there every other week.
Yeah, I know I saw you on there a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Trick in the building. What's up, bro? I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know. We'll get him in. But Otis, tell me about your gym.
Oh, we have a gym. My brother and I. It's called Grant Brothers Boxing. It's a community gym. We do community programs. We have a really good amateur program running right now, where but the pandemic has kicked us in the ass a couple of times, because you're up and running, then they close you down, and then you're up and running, and they close you down. They just reopened us in February, 2 weeks ago. But we had one guy, MMA fighter, that had a fight last night in Toronto that works out of the gym, and but the gym has been there. We've had it since 2004. I think I came back in 2003, fought a couple of fights, and then 2004 we were able to open, and it's been up and running since then. We've had a couple of guys, one world champ. We had a couple of guys, George Sin that became world champion. We took Herman and Gujo, Oliver Lanchi. We had a guy named Wally Sismet that fought John Duddy over in Madison Square Garden. A hell of a fight back in those. We had some guys at some very high level fighting. We also trained Labrado Andretti. We trained Lucien Bute towards the end of his career.
Lucien Bute? You worked with him?
Yeah, on probably his last 4 fights, we worked with him for. But it's there, it's up and around. We also do community programs for moms and pops and people just want to stay in shape, want to get in shape, and then we and we have an amateur program. So we get some community kids in the community program that want to take boxing a little bit further. So want to try it. So they start training with the guys that are competing on Tuesday, Thursdays with the amateur kids. So gym is up and running, and we're still working at it, man. But like the pandemic has halted us a little bit, but it's halted everybody. So we just got to work with it. We just got to keep working at it and keep fighting the good fight until it gets back to normal, more or less.
I gotta go back to your hometown over in Jamaica. Try to get up. When I was down there, I was in Kingston, so I had a ball down there.
I'm not a Kingston guy, man. Kingston is rough.
Like,
I'm a country boy, man. Where I come from on that island. I was just down there in December, actually. My grandma passed away, and I took my mom to the funeral. But it's I
try to get around a little more. Come down there and go to a few other places, but when I came down here to work with Shimpy and them, they had me in Kingston, so that's why I went and we rolled around there. I had a great time. But I got to come down and see more of the country.
Yeah, like I know that it was my dad is there right now visiting his brother, but I do know that the pandemic, traveling, like, they make you fill out a lot of paper. Traveling is not easy, and
it's not easy as it used to be, right?
Yeah, nowhere near as easy. They have you filling out papers before you land, papers for you to come back. It almost nightmares. They have you doing stuff, But it's a great place. It's a great island, man. Tourism is the lifeline of the island. So you have people from all over the world that goes there, and you rarely ever hear anybody go to Jamaica and came back home and say they had a bad time or they didn't have a good time. It's just it's a person's island, and they look after the tourists, and you can't really mess with the tourists out there. If you try to rob them or anything like that, police are gonna come down hard on you because they know that's what supports the island, that's what keeps the island going. So the tourists are fairly safe down there. But when you go certain parts of Jamaica, like Kingston, and certain areas that they have, like the ghetto type areas, it could get a little bit rough if you're in the wrong place
That's everywhere. That's everywhere.
You're right about
That's everywhere. You can go to any city in the world. You make one wrong turn, and it could be over for you. And that's everywhere.
The fortunate thing about me, when I went down there, I worked with all the young fighters, and they took me everywhere with them. If I wanted to go anywhere, they were with me.
Yeah, but
I made a lot of young kids were friends with me. You know what I'm saying? They took me and they made sure they made sure they took care of me down there. Kept me out of trouble, let me know where not to go.
But that's a key.
I had a great time. I made some beautiful friends down there,
That's the key for having a good time down there, man. You go out with somebody local, that way ain't nobody gonna mess with you. Oh, I'm with this guy, I'm with that guy. And if you're moving around with the fighters from down there or someone that's local, you're gonna have a wonderful time. But if you try to get out there on your own, you get lost and start asking for directions or information, and it's like, who's this guy? Where are you coming from? This guy's not from around here. Then you might have some issues.
Otis, I wanted to ask you. There's another Jamaican fighter that's gone missing. Maybe you've seen him. I don't know where the hell he is. Where the hell is Nicholas Walters?
Man, I heard Nicholas Walters was over in Panama. I heard he was training over there.
For what? He just disappeared?
I heard he was living over there in Panama. I'm not sure. The guy was making a lot of noise. I think it was in featherweight and junior lightweight division.
Yeah, one loss and he disappeared.
I think he lost to Lomachenko, and after that, I ain't seen him, man. I don't know what's going on. You might have fought one more time, and I think he might have lost again. But he kind of just fell off the map. So that's a good question. But the guy that we used to work with in Jamaica, his name was Mr. Yap, Willie Yap, but Willie passed away about maybe 2-3 years ago now. So that was our connect to Jamaica. So if we're doing shows and we needed him to bring some guys, or if he's looking for fighters, and he would contact my brother, and we had a great working relationship with him. But since Mr. Yap passed away, we kind of lost that connected Jamaican boxing scene. So I don't know what's going on with Walters right now.
Man, he's been missing for like damn 2 years. Salute to Boxing Connoisseur in that super chat. He says, salute Otis, Freddie, Drew, Stormy, and Trick. Yo, salute to you, brother. Much love and appreciation in that super chat. Trick in the building. What's good, bro? You hear me?
I'm doing good, man. I was having some technical difficulties, man, with my laptop, man. So I had to switch off to this other one, and then it's hard for me to get on, man. I'm like, man, I'm late, man, but I'm doing great, man. Everybody doing good?
We good.
Everybody's good.
What's good with you, Trick?
Yeah, we
okay.
We blessed, man.
Oh, not too much, man. Hey, Otis Grant, what's going on, brother?
I'm good, man.
Otis, what's going on, man? You all right?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm doing good, man. Great to hear from you, man.
Yeah.
What's going on, Freddie?
I'll go back a little bit to just an opinion that I had when we talk about like not having the platform for young guys to come up on like they had back in our day, and we used to watch the Tuesday night fights, the Friday night fight. Like I think boxing after a while, like everything was going pay-per-view, man. As soon as there was a little show with a noble name, they're throwing it on pay-per-view, and that was taking it away from the everyday people that just would tune in and watch the fights on TV. You know, they took that away from the public. So I think pay-per-view hurt boxing a little bit in that aspect of the game.
I agree. I'm glad. Yeah, let's go around the panel on that, man, because it's like every time we turn around, it seems like we got to reach deep. First of all, my take on it is this: I come from the era where I used to watch boxing on free TV, ABC, NBC. Y'all remember running from room to room, trying to see who's fighting where, quality fights, guys trying to come up, and y'all all remember closed circuit TV. Right, you used to have to go somewhere to watch a big fight.
Big fight, yeah.
And then when HBO came out, you had to pay for home box office. For those of you that don't know, that's what HBO stands for, home box office.
Yep.
They had boxing. That was the pay-per-view right there. If you paid for an HBO subscription, you would get the benefit of watching certain fighters fight. And then that changed.
Yeah.
So it's like, and now pay-per-views, I remember pay-per-views was $19.99. And then they were $39.99 to $59.99. Now they're damn near $100. So I don't know when, and then by today's date, what are we paying for? Because we're not getting shit that we want right now. We're the consumer. So we getting some things that we want, but then when we get some things, it's always like 5 years in the making. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Mayweather Pacquiao. We have to wait forever for that goddamn thing.
Yeah.
All right. And then now today, we're not getting fights that we want today. We get on here and we scream about it all the time. The fights should be happening like yesterday. They're not happening. And salute to the War Report back in that super chat. He said Montreal is a great fighting city. Adonis Stevenson versus John Pascal in their primes. Who wins? A prime Adonis. I'm gonna go with Adonis. A prime Adonis.
Yeah, I saw them guys fight at the Nationals, right? The Canadian Championships in the final. This was going back quite a few years. I can't recall the year, but like, you know, Pascal won, but like Pascal was on his bike the whole fight, man. Like, because I know if Adonis cracks you, like it's good. So they fought, I think, once or twice in the amateurs, and I think Pascal might have had the better of him, but in the pros, Adonis, like with the if the fight that I saw, if that fight was gonna be, let's say 4 rounds, 5 rounds, like John's moving so much that, like, you know, Adonis was gonna catch up to him eventually. But like as an amateur fight, like Pascal probably win maybe, you know, 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10 times, but in the pro fight, where you have rounds you gotta do, right, get you sooner or later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Adonis got cracks, man. That dude hit hard. Adonis hit hard. Stormy.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts on this thing that we call boxing, as far as the consumer?
Well, it's kind of switched from where certain power brokers, like back in the day, Don King and Bob Arum had the mindset to challenge, to present the consumer with something worth taking in. That that ideology has shifted now to see what they could take from the consumer. And that's anytime you do it that way, you know, you're going to get definitely a watered down, lackluster effort and result out of the transaction. I remember when Don King, just go back and think about it like this. He was the one that had boxing on ABC and everything. You know, a lot of the fights that were on CBS, a lot of that was Don King, and he don't get that kind of credit for that. And then when the networks decided that they didn't want to have it on there, he went over to HBO, and he made a deal. And because he basically had a farm system of fighters in his stable throughout the weight classes, and he knew how to cater to. He knew how to cater to the audience that craved national pride. Therefore, he would have fights over in Puerto Rico. He would have fights over in Mexico. He would have fights over, you know, in the UK or whatever. He was doing these things, but people weren't giving him that credit. They only wanted to associate and attribute his name to dark things. But you have to understand that the dark things of boxing existed before Don came along. Okay? It was built on dark things. So, you know, and that's where the whole thing with Arum and what he was doing, there was jealousy there because Don would stoop to the lowest levels to get it done. Okay? Look at how he got Foreman and Ali together. That whole thing was basically on a lie, but it happened. He scored a coup, you know what I mean? And he's not respected for those type of things. You look at these guys now, these promoters, they're just sniving and biting each other in the neck and everything. It's like, but nothing is getting done. You got guys sitting with good talent in their stable, but won't put on matches for the public. And then try to shovel them in against lesser opposition that is not a challenge or whatever, and then they want to tell you, well, the public won't pay for it. Think about it.
You know what I mean?
Would you pay? I'm sorry, let me just say this. Would you pay to see Bud Crawford and Earl Spence fight a month from now? Absolutely. Huh? But who the hell want to pay to see Triple G fight Murata?
Hey, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
There is a difference.
No.
Now we'll pay to see Triple G fight Andre, right?
Yeah.
Or Charlo.
Yeah.
Look at how they mess with the public. They think that people want to pay to see Canelo fight this guy Bivol. Who the hell is Bivol? You got a Charlo and an Andre and a Benavidez right there, good talent that people would pay tomorrow to see these guys fight Canelo. You see what I'm talking about? How they play around? If Canelo was fighting for Don King, he would have fought all those guys.
Bottom line.
Or
he'd be on the shelf. That's how Don King got things done.
I think
you understand?
Also, like the difference with boxing compared to other combat sport, like it is so focused on keeping your record clean. You know, like they want to keep you undefeated for as long as they can keep you undefeated. That way, they could throw you into a big money fight. But like you're saying, when you have guys that are like there fighting the guy that's here, like they don't belong in the same ring a lot of times. So that's why you see fights are not appealing. Fights like when I was a kid growing up, man, I saw Ern Pryor, Alexis Arguello, Marvin Hagler, which was my guy. He was a guy that I idolized and I looked up to. Man, he fought everybody and anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't see that today. Today, the guys that they pick and choose the guys that they want to fight because they know they can beat them. You know, and also the promoters and people that are handling your career, they don't want you to lose. So they try to get you the easiest fight that's out there for you. Just keep your record clean and eventually get you in the big money fight.
They've been allowing these guys nowadays have been allowed to skate around the top fighters and wait until it becomes a big money fight. And then the majority, they don't really have any real top quality fighters out there anyway. So the few that they do have don't even fight each other.
That's what I'm saying. The best don't fight the best. Back in the day, the best would fight the best. You see some fights on regular television, NBC, CBS, ABC. You would see fights today that they'll be charging hundreds of dollars for on pay-per-view. And those
true.
Check it out. And to back you up on that, tell us how good was Quincy Taylor, man? You fought him.
Yeah, Quincy was good, man.
Exactly. And guess what?
Hard way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And you guys were young when you fought each other. You weren't fighting each other at the tail end of your career or something like that. You were fighting one another when you were at your competitive best. And because you suffered a loss in that fight, that wasn't the end for you. You came back. Quincy suffered loss. It wasn't the end for him. He came back. See, you're a living testament to the lies that they're perpetuating to the public and the boxing people that tune in and support the sport. You're a living testament to that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Most of us are.
I want to go to this. I'm gonna go to Ant, but I want him to give his response to this. I want to give him the answer to the question, and then I want him to be the first to answer this question. Bolts UK says, the pay-per-view model been introduced. Did that kill the sport? And salute to Vasu in that super chat. Much love. He says, salute that Drew Titan, awesome show, fam. Much love and appreciation, brother. Much love. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But Votes UK says, the pay-per-view model been introduced. Did that kill the sport? I'm going to start with Trick. What's good? You think that is a major factor?
Yes and no, but I feel if you're gonna have the kind of fights on, I don't mind paying money for a fight. You know what I'm saying? But when you jack a price, say Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao back in the day, was that like $100 pay-per-view? Man, you get like 10 people to join in on that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's too much money for a pay-per-view, and that fight should have happened way before then. And that's my take on that. And to Otis Grant, you're right. Think about this. You fought Lonnie Bradley, right? We had Lonnie Bradley on the show last week, right? You fought him to a draw, which I felt you wanted to fight. I'm sure half of anybody with a brain felt you wanted to fight. But you didn't get discouraged by that. You went and, became a champion. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you two guys, you fought at y'all's. How old you when y'all fought? How old when y'all fought?
I was in my 20s, man. I was probably 27, around there. Because after that fight, Lonnie came up his next fight with a detached retina, and he couldn't fight anymore. And the title became he had to vacate the title, right? And I had to go all the way over to England. I mean, I just saw a UK guy there, and I fought in Sheffield, England. They had the two highest available ranked middleweight by WBO in the world at the time fight for the vacant title, which was me and a kid named Ryan Rhodes at the time. And I went to England. It was Frankie Warren that promoted the fight. Went over there, fought him in his hometown, and I beat him. And that's how I became the world champion overseas. I was fighting in North America. I live in Canada, but I fought pretty much exclusively out of the United States. But I had to go over to England to get the opportunity. That's the opportunity they gave me, and I took it.
You won on the cards? I don't remember that fight too well. Do you won on the cards or you stop him?
Yeah, I won on the cards. I won. It was 12 round unanimous decision.
Yeah.
If I remember.
And let me say this. I respected Glenn Johnson, but you was the first road warrior because you was always going and fighting people's backyard. So that's my take on that. You was the original road warrior, in my opinion. You was always on the road fighting fighters, Ryan. So respect for that. A lot of people don't know that. He's always fighting on the road.
Salute to Antoine Richardson in that super chat. He says, salute to the panel. Salute to you, bro. Oh, yeah, let me pull this up. Votes UK is still in the chat. He says, I remember Eubank versus Ben on free TV over in the UK.
Free
He
TV,
said,
man.
God damn, look at that number. Look how many people watched that fight.
The 40 million people watch the fight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, like definitely, and England is a fight town too. I have a lot of family over there. When I fought in England, you know, they thought that these guys tried to bring me in like I think it was 4 days or 5 days before the fight. I have 2 aunts and uncle over there. My father's brothers and sisters, right? I was training with. I don't know if you guys know the name Harold Knight. You know Harold Knight. Yeah, Harold's my man. So
Yeah.
I was training a lot in New Jersey at the 2nd Street Youth Center with Harold and John Davenport and those guys called Russ, my trainer. We fought them guys when we were amateurs. When we turned pro, we kept the connect. So if I had to get out of town, I had to get out of town back in those days to just go and focus on the fight. So I'd go away to training camp somewhere. So I'd fight over there. I'd go in New Jersey and I'd train in New Jersey. And Harold was working with Lennox Lewis. And Lennox was a guy from Canada too that we fought in the national team together. And him and my brother was real tight. And through the connect with Harold and Lennox, there was a kid that Harold was looking after named Benny. And when the fight with Rhodes came up, I had family in England. I made a call to Benny, and I said, "Yeah, I got a fight over here, but they want to bring me in like 4 or 5 days before the fight." I was in England 8 weeks training, man. Rented a house in Fulham, Chelsea. Brought my training partner, John Scully, was my sparring partner. My brother was over
Hey,
here.
John Scully. He's from this house.
Iceman.
Iceman, yeah.
Iceman.
Scully and I go way back, man. Like he beat me in the amateurs, and we've been friends ever since. That was like probably 19, maybe 87, 86, man. I've known Scully since back in them days. So John actually helped me prepare as a sparring partner with me for the majority of my those USA Tuesday night fights and those big fights that I might have had in my career. John was always in my corner. You know, he was always in camp with me.
Excellent. John is a really solid. He's a solid guy, man.
Oh yeah,
solid guy, man.
And he comes. I see him periodically. He comes up to Montreal because he's one of Arthur Betevier. Yeah,
Yep.
so he comes up. So anytime he comes up, like he come by the gym, we hang out. I might go out for dinner or something, you know. But like John is one of my true peeps in this business, man. He's a guy that's been there for a long time and still there.
Now, other than we're gonna get to the Roy Jones fight in a minute, but other than Roy, what would you say was your most difficult fight, like stylistically? Like man, this guy's like, he's aggravating. I got to figure him out. I need a couple of rounds.
It was Quincy Taylor.
Taylor.
You know what? I was a southpaw, right? And believe it or not, I might have fought maybe 2 or 3 southpaws in my whole career as a professional fighter. So I never really faced a southpaw at that level. And you know, like the Taylor fight, like from what I remember of that fight, the fight was going well, and it was a close fight. And we got word from ringside, like in the 10th round, like after the 9th round, we got 10, 11. Said, listen, like going to championship rounds after 10 rounds, they said the fight is dead. They have the fight dead even, right? So I don't know where that came from, or it was because of guys that were scoring on television, but we got told in the corner the fight is dead even. Man, you're on the road. You need usually these last 2 rounds to pull it off. You need the last 2 rounds to win. And I said, okay. So 11th round, went out there, press. I might have won that round. And the 12th round, I'm tired, and I got hit with a jab. He boom, and I like, just when you're that far into a fight, you get hit, like instincts take over, you know?
Yeah.
So normally if I get hit with a jab, I'm slipping the right hand going this way, man. I slip right into the left. I slipped the wrong side, boom, caught me the left hand. And all I heard was 5, 6.
Oh wow!
I didn't even hear the 1, 2, 3. I heard.
Damn.
And when I got up, I beat the count. Then the referee says, all right, and he wiped my gloves off and he says, walk to me. So when I take 2 steps, my second step, I stumbled, and he grabbed, he said, no, he says, fight's done. So like I was still a little wobbly on my legs. And then what the travesty of that fight is that when the fight was over, right, on the judge, I was ahead on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards, and one of the last judges had the fight even. So had I just ran away in that last round and killed the round, I would have won that fight. But like I thought I was losing, or I needed the last 2 to win. So I went out there to try to get it, and I got. You know, he got me, man.
Damn.
And there's only 22 seconds. 22 seconds he caught me left in that fight. When I got
that happens. You're trying to go for it because that's what you need to do, and then you eat something.
Do. You're on the road. You got to fight, man. You got to pull it out because.
But at least you ain't played safe. You knew what you had to do.
100%. And I got caught.
It's boxing.
Yeah,
it's boxing, man. Votes UK says Ryan Rose was trained by Brendan Ingle, father of Kell Brooks' trainer Dominic Ingle.
That's right.
See, I don't know everything. I love the chat, man. I learned.
And also, Rhodes was in camp. One of his stablemates back in those days was Prince Nassim. Like, so they had a really good crap of guys up there, man.
You saw Prince live train? You saw him in person train?
No. He fought actually that same weekend when I fought Rhodes in England and Sheffield. I think he fought Kevin Kelly in New York.
Yes,
so
I was there. I was there for that.
He wasn't at the fight, but those guys. Frankie Warren had a good crop of guys, and Brendan Ingle and that gym up there is a legendary gym, from what I hear. You know, some of the greatest fighters that came out of England or out of Britain went through that place.
Yeah, Nas was it was perfect timing for him. Great marketability. He was talented, really good power at that weight. But what I did say was they need to keep him away from these Mexican guys because he's food. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. He was talented, but he needed some work. But he was talented. He was. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, and for a little guy, he could hit. If he caught you, he could get you. But I think it was it Barrera that beat him and Morales?
Barrera, yeah.
That got rid of him,
yeah. It was Barrera. That it was no nonsense. Barrera was just a mean babyface assassin. He was just mean.
Yeah, he was a tough boy too.
Kevin Kelly
had him, and then he got clipped, man. I said, "Oh shit, man!" When he hit Kevin and he fell, I said, "Oh shit, man, this kid is strong." I said, "God damn, it barely like it touched him." Yeah. I was like, "Damn." Yeah, he hit the shit out of him.
Listen, I'll add something to that story about Barrera facing Hamed. Just last week, I did a show where I was talking about guys being able to show resiliency and come back. Yeah. If Barrera hadn't run into Kennedy McKinney and Junior Jones, he wouldn't have never beat someone like Hamed. He would have got hit and knocked out by Hamed. But those two men, with their boxing ability and being able to stick him with that jab, give him angles and movement and stuff like that, when he lost, he had to go back to the drawing board. And he realized that he wasn't Julio Cesar Chavez, and he had to go back and pick up some basic techniques, beginning with the jab. He always had a very good left hook to the body. But when he picked up using the jab and learned how to do that, he became a complete fighter. That's why he took Hamed to school, because he was technically proficient. Yeah. And I've always maintained, when you have an unorthodox guy like Roy or even Hamed, and they have certain things that they could do well, you have to be strong in your foundation of technical proficiency, because technical will prevail over that unorthodox stuff, but you have to be able to execute. And that was the difference when Hamed fought Barrera. I just talked about that last week. it's interesting because he grew from losses.
From losses, yeah.
They are trying to prevent losses. You can't prevent a loss in life. We lose on a daily scale. You know, it's like it's a part of the process, but it's not taught. It's not like, you know, you have to be able to understand a setback doesn't mean necessarily the end. You know what I mean? And it's like so many guys today just think that
they can't afford one loss on the record.
Yeah, you know.
I want to take a moment to salute Volts UK just informed me that Johnny Nelson was in that stable. I want to take a moment to salute Johnny Nelson.
One banana, two banana, three banana, four bananas make a bunch and so do many more. Over hill and highway the banana buggies go, coming home to bring you the banana split show.
If I go into a ring and I see that, I'm leaving. He can have the purse and everything. Fuck that. That's just weird to me.
England at one point in time, right? Those English fighters, they had a middleweight.
Hold on, Freddie. Go ahead. Say that again, Otis.
No, I'm saying at one time England had some of the top middleweights in the world, man. They had Nigel Bent, they had Eubanks, they had Steve Collins, they had a bunch of guys that were like killers over there, man.
Graham.
They ducked James Toney, though.
I saw Harold Graham fight. He was the cream of the
Oh,
crop.
and Roy.
Yeah,
you remember what James Toney said to them on that on TV? Eubanks and Ben. He wanted to smoke.
And they mama.
He said, "I smack him and his mama."
And they mama.
James was so disrespectful, man.
Yeah, he was a great fighter too.
That was another crazy mom.
Matter of fact,
myself.
I'm gonna look for that right now. James Toney Eubanks. Oh my God, that was bad. That was just all bad.
Say, Otis, what did you think of Julian Jackson? He was awfully small for 160. I think he was a real natural 154 pounder.
Let me tell you what happened. My first crack at the world title, that middleweight, was supposed to be against Julian Jackson, right? He was a Don King fighter, right?
Yeah.
And I was in my last year at university, right? My last year, and I had about 3 months before I graduated, right? And I got this offer to fight Julian Jackson on one of Don King shows. I don't remember if it was a bigger card. Might have been on Mike Tyson on a card. I don't remember, but I refused to fight, right? Because I was in my last 3 months. I said, "Shit, I've been in school now for 4 years. Let me get out." And like once I got out of university, I could put all my eggs in the boxing basket. But I wanted to secure my future away from a boxing ring, so I wanted to get that degree and just be done with school, and then focus on boxing full time, right? And I didn't take a fight. And he went on and he was champion. And then after I lost to Quincy, right? I think the fight I had after that was with Taylor when I got out of squad, and I lost that fight. Quincy went on and fought him, and I think Quincy knocked him out in like the 7th or 8th round. But he was a hell of a puncher, man. Like he might not have been like skilled in finesse, but when he hit you, it could have been lights out. Whoever he hit.
Speaking of lights out, man. Let me just play this real quick because Eubanks and Ben, they're pretty good fighters, but they ducked the shit out of James Toney. Let me run this real quick.
Now, Mickey, if I'm not mistaken, that rather imposing figure to your left is the current IBF super middleweight champion. Man that many boxing fans feel is the super middleweight who really is the one to beat, James Toney. James, I'm sure you're aware of this fight between Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank. Are you watching it with interest? Who do you think will win? And are you looking forward to taking one of them on?
I don't care who wins, and I'll fight either one of them. I mean, I'll fight both of them on the same night if they want to.
Tony's a fool, boy. I'm telling you.
They ain't laughing either.
Let me ask
Look
the
at Nigel
guys if they have something to say back to you. First of all, Nigel,
Look at
what do
Ben
you
hair.
think?
I don't mind coming over there and fighting him. I've done it with Barkley, Robbie Sims, Doug DeWitt. I'm not scared of them. I'll come over there and fight.
Tell you something. I'm not Iran Barkley. I'm not Doug DeWitt. When you come over here,
That's cool. I'll see you.
Let me ask for Chris Eubank's response to your statement, sir. Chris, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? Chris, what do you have to say to the current IBF?
I'm the best. When I see you, I'm gonna beat you and your mama's ass.
You're full of mouth.
Oh,
I want to
man.
give any final comment for fight fans over here. How do you regard the WBO and the WBC titles?
What the WBC stands for, we be crooks. And the WBO, we don't even count that. I'm
Yup.
gonna be a champ. For them to be crowned champ, they gotta fight me. The only way they're gonna make some real money is by fighting James Tony. I'm the $1 million man. If they want to make some money, they gotta fight me. That's what it all comes down to.
Thank you very much for your time. I think we received your messages loud and clear. Chris, I know he's particularly keen to meet up with you socially.
Oh,
No fighters in England. They all bums.
Oh,
No, give the man his due. He's bigger than most of us. I think we've almost out of time now. Chris would like to say one final thing to you. Chris Eubank,
oh man.
one final quick thing.
You seem as though you're purely ignorant, and I'll give you a few seconds.
Oh man.
Neither one of y'all.
You're thick as two show plank.
Okay, guys, let's calm down. James, I can only say thank you very much. If you could thank just the world as well. Enough to say how very glad I am that you're in Los Angeles and we're over here.
James, that boy is crazy. Yeah, he's had me laughing. We went up in we was up in Tampa they had a get together where he was up there boxing, putting on an exhibition for some people, and they interviewed him after it was over, and I called him out.
Man.
He's like, you don't want to come up to this weight. You don't want to come up to this weight. It's just way too much for you. I said, not for the fearless one, bro.
You know what though? One thing we'll take from that is they didn't want that smoke. They didn't get it.
They sure didn't.
They didn't get it.
They
All
stayed
of
away
that
from
aside.
him. They wouldn't even say his name.
Did they work?
No, they wouldn't even
Nope.
say his name, man. And I honestly believe James would have whooped their ass, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he would. I mean, James
is
is
a hell of a fighter.
James could be anybody he stepped in the ring with. If he's in the right condition, he'd be just by anybody.
Yeah.
You know what James' problem was,
I
man?
mean,
That guy,
he moved all the way up to heavyweight.
like Scully and James tight, and like Scully used to spar with Tony all the time, man. He said Tony, man, his training was just sparring. Man,
That's all he did.
And he just go to Taco Bell or some fast food. He wasn't this.
Burger King was his thing. Burger
Yeah,
King
Burger King.
was his thing.
Burger King.
That's it, man.
I don't know what
Hey,
eat
Drew,
that
pull that
stuff.
one up.
I couldn't eat that when I was
Drew.
fighting. I couldn't eat that.
Yeah,
Drew,
he
pull that
ain't
up
played no
when
games.
Tony fought
James,
Tim Lips.
yeah. After that
Yeah,
fight, he
Tim
said, "We
Lips
go to
fight.
Burger
Pull that
King. We go to Burger King." Oh man, yo, James, man, he could have been. Well, he's already great.
He was
But
great.
if he
could've been
kept
one
the
of
diet under
the top
control,
guys in the game.
if he kept the diet under control, he may have been that much better.
He would have been that much better because
Small- small heavyweight.
I'm gonna tell you guys this. I respected Evander Holyfield, man, when he was at the top of his game. I'll tell you the worst beating that I see Evander take was from James Toney.
Yeah,
Sure was.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
feel it at first.
To the
Like,
body. Oh my gosh, to the body. He been bad.
Stormy, break down what you saw in that fight, man. That was amazing.
Listen, I had just recently, within this past month, talked about that fight
about,
as well.
Mhm.
Tommy Brooks and Don Turner were training
Yeah.
Holyfield. and they were riding the wave of success that they had with Mike Tyson and everything. And he came back and got Michael Moore in that rematch and stuff like that. But their approach to James Toney, I don't know where I saw less boxing trainers' IQ, because the only way that Evander was going to beat James Toney was, now this is, I'm going to take it and put, like, if I were in the seat of working with Evander to fight James Toney, I would have told him, you got to take this fight back to your cruiserweight days and outbox James. I know you don't want to do that, but that's the only way you're going to beat him. If you go in there thinking, I'm the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm going to go in there and bang him out, he going to bust you up. Yeah. Because James Toney relishes guys coming in on him. Ask, what's his name, Jiroff, and the rest of those guys that went in there and tried to do that. You saw what Roy Jones did with him, right? Roy stayed at a certain distance, got his shots off, kept James moving and turning, things of that nature, because even Roy knew, if you go in there and you try to rock with James, James can fight. Yeah, but the thing about it was, he can box too, but he don't like to box. He either want to fight or rumble or that kind of thing, and you always have to do the opposite of what the guy is best at. And that was one of Evander. And Evander is my favorite fighter. So I can say these things with no filter. It was his dumbest performance in the history of him boxing. I never saw him go in there and look so foolish. And James Toney took advantage of every opening that Evander gave him, which were sneaky right hands that Burt Cooper almost knocked him out with.
Yeah, man.
There were body shots that, for all his career at heavyweight, Riddick Bowe was the only one who went to the body on him, and that's how he got him up out of there, and that's how James got him up out of there. The body shots, because Evander likes to lean in, right? He likes to lean in, that cross-arm defense and everything, but James was hitting him, bam, on this side, bam, on that side. And everybody know muscles are different than fat. You pounding on muscles, you get inflammation, you get blood clots, you get, it's like, at fat, it's just like hitting the bag. But with muscles, that stuff starts cramping up on you. You get tired. It takes your legs. It saps your energy. And that's exactly what happened to him. He tried to say, oh, my left shoulder went out on me. Bull crap. James Toney beat the fight out of Evander that night and made him look like he was 50 years old. Yeah. And all he had to do was go out there and box the guy, stick him, give him angles. Evander could box. He was an Olympian. He was
Stormy.
Either way it went, for me, either way it went, he wasn't gonna beat James Toney. James Toney just had too much. He could have boxed. He could have, did whatever he had. Whatever he did, he wasn't gonna beat James Toney. James Toney was just a complete fighter that was going to be able to overtake him anyway. So no matter what he did, he wasn't going to win that fight.
Let me add to this, Stormy. Do you remember how many times? Remember James? He throws this right hook up top and then brings it to the body. Do you remember that time? I forget which round he hit Evander, and Evander paused and backed up and sucked wind, and that was relatively early in the fight.
Basically, the same shot that Mike Tyson hit him with in the 6th round of their fight. Mike's double right hand, the right hand to the body, followed with the uppercut. Yeah. And it's a different shot that Mickey Ward used to throw. He used to throw a left hook to your head and then come right back under your elbow to the liver. He got a lot of knockouts and knockdowns that way. Evander was always weak to the body. Only Riddick Bowe and Eddie Futch knew that, and they took advantage of that. James Toney knew it because that's the skill set he had. That's where he was best. And I disagree with Freddie. You can always beat fighters when you utilize that foundation of boxing technique. Freddie, you've done it. You're a great boxer. You beat the shit out of guys. But see, Evander went in with the wrong mindset because he went in at the guy.
He became a puncher. He wasn't a boxer no more.
He went in against the guy because he thought at 5'9.5", 5'10", whatever James is, he thought that he would be able to overpower him. But James was 200 pounds in high school. So he's really a heavyweight. It was the wrong way to look at things.
Quarterback.
Yep.
It was the wrong way to look at things. And when you have dumb IQ out there, you're at the behest of anybody.
Now watch this. Stormy. One question. Who's your favorite fighter?
Evander. I just said he's my favorite fighter. And I'm his harshest critic because I'm like, you know what? He could. What did I say? I said he would have to take it back to his cruiserweight days.
There you go.
In the cruiserweight
you couldn't
division.
do that anymore. How you going to do that when you've been doing something totally different for years?
You listen. You do it by. That's what you go to your training camp doing. That's not what he did in training camp. That's not what he did. Listen, you could box, right? Do you ever forget that you can box, or do you just no longer want to box?
I'll wait for the answer.
I do it all.
Let me
I bang. I do it all.
Wait, hold on, Otis. What'd you say, Otis? Go ahead, Otis.
Going back to like, I love Evander too. I mean, I watched that guy since he was an amateur, right? I've seen him, but he was a great fighter. And throwing this shit back to what we're talking about, pay-per-view and all that stuff, paying to see guys, man. I almost fucking fell out my chair watching Evander fight on that fucking when he fought on Paul brothers. Wasn't that shameful?
You talking about he fought Vito Belfort?
Belfort.
Yeah, Vito Belfort. Yeah.
I don't know whatever that thing was called. Well, yeah, when he fought on that that YouTuber
Triller.
Man, it was shameful, man. I felt so bad for the guy, for the fighter that he was, to go in there and look the way he did, man. I almost cried. You guys watch that fight? You guys see that?
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it. But I knew
I'm
what
trying
they
to get him
were
on the
doing. I knew
show.
what they were doing. I knew what they were doing, man. I don't even count that shit. He don't even count that shit. It was shit. It was shit. Van Dam, 60 years old, man. What was he doing in there, man? It's ridiculous.
Drew,
but go ahead.
I got a question for Otis. Otis, I got a question for you. We talk about cheating all the time on this channel, and I got a question. When you trained Hercules Cavellos when he fought Antonio Margarito, you think his wraps was loaded? His hands were loaded when y'all fought?
They found out after that fight, but like, loaded or not loaded, like the outcome wouldn't have been much different, because like Herc was going through some stuff that Herc shouldn't have been in that fight. Like my brother and I almost pulled him. Like I think it was 3 weeks before the fight, man. Cause we had his partners were like, but then it turned out that he was diagnosed later on, like he had sleep apnea, and like Herc right now he has fuck is that disease called?
CTE?
No, like muscular dystrophy.
MS?
He's going through that right now.
Oh, sure.
All right, and
oh man,
I don't know if the onset came was shown. It was shown like Herc went to Australia to a training camp with Carsten Zoo, right? To prepare Carsten Zoo for some fight. I don't remember who was fighting, and Herc went over there, and I think that they threw him in there. He went by himself. I think he might have gone over there, and they might have taken advantage of him, because he came back and he got the Margarito fight, and in camp, like, we had beginners, man. We had amateur guys that was getting better of Herc in the gym, and like got to the point where we were like, man, listen, like, you gotta show us something, or else like we're gonna give you 1 week to turn this shit around, or we're just gonna pull you from the fight. Cause we can't have you fight Margarito like looking the way you're looking in the gym, and having these guys almost kind of running them out of sparring sessions, man. So like we told them that, let's say, the end of training on Friday, and then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know where he mustered up the gumption or whatever we want to call it, man, but he looked like he was back on track. He started putting it to these sparring partners. So he had 1 week in the gym, and last week of sparring, where we said, listen, you gotta show us something, or we're gonna pull this fight. And he's like, guys, I can't afford for you guys to pull this fight. I need the money. Nah. And he mustered it up, and he looked like the old Herc the last week of training. and we said, okay, you know, we're gonna keep you in the fight, and we kept him in the fight, and he went out there, and you know, he was going through some stuff, man, and I think if it was the younger Herc that was more focused and all that kind of stuff, it might have been a couple more rounds, but I mean, like, I wouldn't attribute his loss the way like he got blown out by Margarito through Margarito's wraps being loaded. That night, he would have been beaten by maybe pretty much anybody he might have been in the ring with, because he shouldn't have been in the ring that night. I don't think he should have been in that fight. But he didn't want us not to pull the fight. He wanted to fight. He needed the money, and we kept him in the fight for that reason.
Well, what's he up to now? Like, I mean, I know you said he's not in the best of health, but you know,
he's around. He was training some guys in our gym as a trainer, but here he has his own little place. He's also a real estate agent, so he sells homes.
Okay.
And that's a good market to be in right now, because the fucking price of homes right now is through the roof. Like I don't know what it's like down in the US there, but up here this pandemic has shot everything up. So
yeah, the pandemic made people get up, getting down. If you get what I'm saying, man. You had to hit the ground running during the pandemic, man. Yeah, you had to get busy.
But he's okay. But he's skinny. Like you know, if you look, like people will see him in the gym and say, "Hey, oh, this man, what's wrong with her? Is he okay?" Like I was like, he's lost some weight. He looks a little frail. I haven't seen him in a while, but like I knew he was going through some personal issues with his health and all that. So, but aside from that, he's good. He's married. He's got 2 daughters, and he's got a good family life. You know, he's a good family man, as far as I know.
Excellent. So now we want to ask about the Roy Jones fight.
Yeah.
All right. So leading up to that fight, you know, just give us all the skinny. Were you healthy? Were you hyped? Did you believe that you could win?
I was healthy in that fight. I don't know about if I believe I could win. I believe I could win in there and be competitive, because at that time Roy was pound for pound the best fighter in the world. And I heard, you remember talking about the Tuesday night fight platform? Like I heard that Roy was a fan of the Tuesday night fights, and you see me fight on that series, right? I heard the way I got this fight, because a lot of guys at that time, Roy on the HBO platform, everybody was trying to get on the HBO platform, and Roy was the HBO platform guy. He was one of the main guys up there. And I heard, you know, there's a couple of guys I was trying to call him out, and he said that he, you know, these guys, you know, he would like take them in some alley and beat the crap out of them. He said, those guys don't deserve a shot at my title. And I think he knew from watching the HBO, the USA Tuesday Night Fights, that, you know, I was a boxer. I was also a school teacher. I was working with special needs kids in the high school system was my day job. So
I remember that.
I like give a guy like that a shot at my title. So, I mean, hey, when that offer came to me, the contract that I had with my promoter, Palulu, I've been getting paid my minimum guaranteed, which is what the promoter's gonna try to pay you anyhow, right? I've been paid 2.5, 3 times more with the offer that I got from Roy. I had to fight 3 times to make that kind of money that I made in that one fight. Right? So I said, well, hell no, hey, I'm gonna take a fight. I was middleweight, and I moved up 2 weight classes. I moved up to light heavyweight. That's the first fight that I had to eat. I was on an 8 meal a day program to keep the weight on and to put the weight on and not lose the weight while training, you know. So like I thought it was an opportunity for me. And you know, when opportunity knocks, man, you gotta like come, you gotta open the door and let it in. I think he gave me the opportunity to be in the ring with pound for pound best fighter in the world at the time. And I thought it was a great opportunity, and I took advantage of it. And I think my fight plan with Roy was the wrong plan. After I fought him,
what was it? Because I know it was. I mean, matter of fact, you know, I don't need to show this shit.
The fight plan was like I was very good defensively, right? And the fight plan was, listen, you're going in there with the best fighter pound for pound in the world. offensively, very good. But if you can be out there, move, bob, weave, and if you're not getting hit by the best fighter in the world, if you can afford to stay in the row and not get hit for the first half of the fight, then you're halfway there. You're doing good. So the fight plan was to be defensive, first 4 or 5 rounds, 6 rounds of the fight, and then start pushing it after the 6th round. I think I didn't do much. I was there moving, not doing much. And then
Man, is that you? Hold on.
Finally, what ended up happening, like when the 6th round came around, like my corner told me, okay, start pressing him. I pressed him, and I got hit with an uppercut, and I got dropped.
Damn.
As soon as I started pressing, I got hit with an uppercut and got dropped. And I had to reset. And then I think the one round of the fight that I won on all the judges' scorecard was the 8th round, or the 9th round, right? I won that round, hit him to the body a couple of times, and then I got dropped in the 10th again. And my corner said, "Listen, it's a fight that Russ, let's call it a night, because it's a fight that you're not winning. You've been down twice, and you're not, and the way it's going, you're not going to knock this guy out. You need to knock out to win." So he stopped the fight in the corner. But when I knew that I fought the wrong fight with Roy, is after that fight he was unifying the titles with Reggie Johnson. Was
Reggie Johnson? Yeah, we know Reggie. We know Reggie well. Yeah.
He was going to unify the title then, and Reggie's a southpaw. I got a call that these people thought enough of the fight that I gave him. They invited me to training camp to be one of his main sparring partners for that fight with Johnson. And it was in training camp where it became real clear to me that I fought the wrong fight with Roy, man. Because if I just went out there and did what I normally would do, I'd have fought a much better fight. But because I was trying to be too defensive, there was no offense from me that night. And in camp, I had some really good days with him, sparring with him. But the gym doesn't count, so you're going to take chances. But, like, I think my corner didn't want me to take any chances, trying to play too safe. And then when they say, okay, go ahead, and I started pressing, I got hit and I got caught, and I went down. And that's my recollection of that fight, just not fighting, not having the right game plan for a Roy Jones fight.
So, Otis, after having been in there with him, and I know what you just said, what is your assessment now that for let's just say for a southpaw, we saw that Tarver was able to do successfully, but what would be your assessment if you were preparing another guy to go in there against Roy after your own experience? What do you think you could have built upon to be more successful going in? I mean, you've had a taste of his power, so you know what that is, because power sometimes comes with speed, and sometimes somebody just got heavy hands and things of that nature. So give us your assessment based on that.
Roy's, I think, great asset that he had was his speed, his quickness, his mobility, because he could hit you from angles that were very unconventional. Like he could turn around, hit you this way, hit you that way, and like he was quick on his feet. That when Roy started losing, when his career took a turn, was when I think he lost some of that quickness, he lost some of that mobility, he lost some of that speed, and then he wasn't the same fighter anymore. But like if I was training someone to beat Roy Jones at his best, it would be to not go there and be defensive. He was too quick for that, and he pivot and he turns on you, and like he hit you from an angle where you're not expecting to get hit from. But I try to tell a guy, stay in front of him, press him, let him move, hit him to the body, I think that working his body, breaking him down, try to slow him down a little bit. I think that's the way I think you go about beating or Roy Jones. So similar to the way James Toney fought him, like. James was on him. James was there. Roy was moving. But just press him and stay, keep your defense tight, and know that he's gonna throw shots from unconventional angles. So you just gotta be there, keep him in front of you, roll with him, move with him. When he turns, you turn with him. That type of stuff, and time up when you gotta time up. That way he's not gonna hit you because he's that quick. So just a couple of things like that after the fight, and then after training with him, I realized could have been beneficial to me in the fight. But like, hindsight is 2020, and like, we didn't see that going into the fight. But after having fought him and then work with him in the training camp type environment, like I realized a couple of things that I could have or should have taken advantage of, but I didn't in the fight.
One of the things that I've been able to assess is that he was not an inside fighter. He killed you to death from mid-range.
Outside. That's why you got to press. You got to press him
outside.
and keep pressure on him.
Yeah, but he was not an inside fighter at all, and that I think that's one of the reasons why he never wanted to rematch James Toney, because he knew he caught James Toney in between those fat camps. Yeah, and he was able to take advantage of that tremendously. But I just thought I would ask you that, based on being in there with him and everything, because a lot of times people want to hit a guy on the chin. I got to get that jaw, got to get that jaw. But the body work is so important. It'll set up anything else you would like to do, but you got to invest in it.
And also would take away his mobility, because Roy used to move so like working his body early and breaking him down and slowing him down for later on in the fight would have been key.
I mean, the shit he used to get away with, that was pure athleticism, man.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. You can't train no kid to fight like that. You'll get them killed.
Yeah, and
it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and even in your fight, Otis, I was watching Roy. He was moving to your left, man, and it's like he doing it all wrong. He moved right to your power hand, So yeah, he did a lot of things wrong.
No, but what the thing was, like, I had a good right hook, so he probably seen that on a couple of my fight videos or whatever. And I would hurt a lot of guys more with the right hook than the left. So he knew that, and he probably stayed away from this side of me and moved to the other side.
Yeah. Well, pulling up the rear.
I watched. My bad.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, just looking like he fought Antoine Bird. He moved mostly to Antoine Bird's left. He didn't move to his right. So I guess that makes sense because Bird did have power on his right hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know the one thing you got to do is when you fighting a guy like Roy Jones that has a lot of techniques and stuff like that, you have to be ready and you have to be in the best shape you ever been. And most people were scared of him. Why? He's just another fighter to me. You know what I'm saying? I look for him same way I fought everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of skill. Yes, he did. But you still got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
but not
a lot of guys weren't ready for him.
Not everybody could beat everybody up like you can, Freddie.
Well, I learned a huge thing.
I mean, you're being very truthful, but
you know what, Freddie, if that fight plan was to press Roy and try to get inside on him, I would have followed the fight. I followed the fight plan that my corner and my team laid out for me, but it wasn't the right plan. So you can't go in there and your corner team, you do one thing and you say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do something else."
So you was doing something. You was doing something, Otis, that you wasn't used to doing.
Well, not that. Yeah, I'm not really that much. Like defensively, I was good defensively, but like staying away and waiting for rounds to pass just to put them in the bank and then start pressing later on. Yeah, it's not something I normally do, man. You go in there to fight, you fight. But with Roy Jones' fight, I was way more defensive than I should have been.
True
indeed. Well, I learned something very telling from his fight with Lou Delval. You remember Lou Delval dropped him,
sure
right?
Did.
Now, what was interesting, I don't remember which round it was, maybe round 7 or 8, something like that. But about 2 or 3 rounds later, the HBO cameras in Roy's corner, he's talking to Alton Murkison, and he says, I can't believe that sucker dropped me. So basically, a couple of rounds later, he was, it was still on his mind. That was very telling because he thought that he shouldn't get hit. It's boxing. Yeah. If I would have had a lead into that, oh boy, it would have been like something to tell him because now it's time to make his worst fears become the reality. It's like he don't want to deal with that contact. He think he's supposed to be able to hit you only and
not get hit
look
back.
good. And but that was something to see there, because it was very telling about him. Several rounds later, in a fight that he's definitely winning, he's still worried that he got dropped. And you can say, oh, well, it just made me mad or whatever. No, something else was going on there, I believe.
Very possible.
Matter of fact, it's right here on YouTube, because a lot of people forgot this shit happened. And Lou was training right here in the Bronx. I spoke to Lou. He said he had something. He thought he had something. See, that was a clean hit, man. And Roy was pissed. But it was a clean hit. They had a clash of heads. It was a serious clash of heads, too. Boom. See that? I'll bring it back. Boom.
Roy never could take a good punch. If he ever got caught solid, he always went down. He got caught by that young boy that put him in. Remember the unknown guy? He come out of nowhere and put Roy down. And shit, he almost had Roy out that round. Roy got past it and beat him. Roy is very unique style. He's a very unique fighter. But everybody found out that if you can hit him, you can beat him. So that's when things got a lot tougher, when everybody realized if you can catch him, you can put him down. You can put him down.
Well, Glenn Johnson didn't go in there to play with him from round one. He didn't go in there to play with him. He just went in there to scheme. There was no technique. He said, "I'm not outboxing this guy. I'm gonna go in there and balls to the wall." And
but you gotta understand, me and Glenn Johnson, we worked in the same gym, and Glenn Johnson was not a very scholarly type fighter. He was one of them fighters that come in. He's just coming to kill you, period. And that's what he did. He come in. He's just coming right at you. He ain't gonna try to duck and slip all these punches and stuff. He coming right at you and letting everything he got go, and it worked.
Yeah.
And shout out to Lou. Get ready for that fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
We had a good sparring session.
Man, Freddie, you spar King Kong.
Yeah, I sparred them all. I don't care. Everybody was like, how the hell you sparring Trevor Burbank? That's a lie. So I'm telling you, bro, it happened, bro. I don't lie about nothing. I'm gonna tell you what happened. If I got my ass whooped, I'm gonna tell you I got my ass whooped. I ain't gonna lie. Lies come back at you hard.
Man, listen. But salute to Lou, because Lou, he had some troubles, drugs and shit like that. He don't hide it, but he a good dude. He a real good dude. He had his share of robberies in that ring too. I watched him. I watched a couple of them. Like, God damn. Me and him had a long conversation about that, man. But Lou good. But Otis, I want to ask you before we get out of here, and salute to everybody in the chat. I see y'all. I see Keon in there. OG Eric. What you showing me there? What's that? This is
read that.
Nice.
That's from Kirk Johnson.
Oh, that's from Kirk. Yeah, that's Kirk right there.
He's talking about Otis Grant.
Oh, that's what's up. That's right. He up there. He up there in Canada too. Salute.
Yeah, hey, Canada. You guys can't sleep on us up here anymore, man. We last little while.
That's my man right
there.
Quite
a few champions that came out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yo, Kurt had hands.
Great fight out of Canada, man. Yep.
Kurt had hands, man.
And listen, Kirk's from Nova Scotia, Halifax. They have some guys down there, man. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Downies, like from Ricky Henderson back in it was 1980 or 84 Olympics, and they have a bunch of guys, man. The Don Downey, Billy Downey, Raymond Downey was a. They have a place down there called Downeytown, from what I understand, full of Downies, And them guys are all fighters, man. They have a bunch of fighters down there, but there hasn't been anything going on in the last little while, so I haven't seen them. I know that Kirk's father, I think it's Gerald Johnson, his dad. That might you call every once in a while looking for fights, or it might not be his father. It might have been what's a little 126 pounder from Canada? He won a title back in the day. His name escapes me right now, but no, it's his father that calls the gym periodically looking for fights or want to know what's going on. But the boxing business worldwide is kind of slowed down, but especially up here, there hasn't been. They just started. I think there's a fight, 2 fights in Montreal, one last week and one this week that just passed. So it's starting to get back slowly, but like the pandemic has kind of closed everything down and slowed everything up. But I'm glad to see that, like, over there, like, even though there's the platforms that was there in the past and the free television, the closest thing I see over there now is the PBC platform that'll show the fights on Fox every once in a while, but it's not a weekly thing, you know. But at least they're trying to keep that going.
Most people don't know Kirk Johnson is related to somebody that's at 147 right now. I'll let people figure it out. I'll just say he's about to fight Boots. He's about to fight Boots. You know, I was gonna get the brother on the show. You know what I'm saying? Y'all figure it out. Y'all do the homework. He's about to fight Boots. He's about to fight Boots. That's Kirk Johnson's relative. I spoke to Kirk behind the scenes. I said, yo, bring y'all ass on the show, man. Let's promote it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. See, I know Oddfellow was right there. He know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because Steel Clayton was up here in Montreal training for a while, man. I haven't seen him in a minute though. But I didn't know that he was family to Kurt.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Kurt hit me up. I had no idea. Kurt hit me up. I said, man, come on, let's come on, man. We support, man. Let's get it. He told me, he said, yo, I think he could beat him. I said, shit, you need to come on here and talk that shit, man. You never know. You never know, man.
He could fight. He was an Olympian also, man. He has a wealth of amateur experience, and I do believe he was signed up here with a promoter in Montreal, but I don't think they're together still. But I haven't really been, even though I own a gym, I haven't really been involved or around the pro boxing scene up here day to day in the last little while, because everything was just closed and shut down. You gotta be out on the road hustling, run to clients, you know, to make a living. So I haven't really been on top of the pro game, but I know that guy. He can fight. Anybody that you put the Castillo in the ring with at welterweight, he's gonna give them a run for their money.
Do you watch? Are you paying attention to like boxing today with the critical eye at all?
Not so much. I like last night. I know who was it? Who fought last night? I think I was doing a comeback, but I was over by friends and they're watching UFC. Says boxing on. I said, no, watch UFC if you're watching UFC. So I didn't watch the fight, but it's I think a kid from Venezuela, the Latino Spanish kid, was a champion for many years.
You talking about Chocolatito?
Chocolatito, yeah. How'd he do last night?
He won. He beat the young lad. You know, it's one of those situations where you get an OG on there that's supposed to be over the hill, but he put the beats on the up and comer. You know, because experience and shit. Chocolatito, they're gonna end up putting him in the Hall of Fame. I try and stay away from promoting certain fighters. Not that I don't like them, it's just that they don't need my help in supporting them. Because Chocolatito, now listen very carefully, because I know a lot of people like to misconstrue me, and you start calling me racist and everything else. Fuck y'all, all right? Y'all know my heart, okay? And let me be very clear, all right? I don't have to support fighters. Don't need my support when they got the support of elsewhere. Old media, y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't have to talk up Chocolatito because motherfuckers had him number one pound for pound just a year and a half ago it was, over like Jamal Charlo, who's still undefeated. No, they had him ahead of Errol Spence and Bud Crawford on some of these pound for pound lists. And I'm like, how? And it was a kiss of death because he got in the ring with Sarung Vasai and got slept badly. badly. So Chocolatito, Hall of Famer, I guess. He don't need my help in promoting. All right, but he is a good fighter at that weight. People want to see him fight Estrada again. Man, fuck it. He need to go get that win back from Sarung Vasai. But then again, if he values his life, stay away from Sarung Vasai. You dig? like for instance, in no disrespect to Roy, and he's also a friend of the show, but you see he didn't want to get that work back from Glenn Johnson, right? You saw that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're being consistent. We're being consistent here. I mean, so come on. That's just my opinion, you know. So Chocolatito did well last night. I watched it. Whatever, man. But does he get Estrada? Look. If you're a competitor, you want that win back, and they putting him on his pedestal. Go fight Sarung Vasai. Get it back. Even if you gotta take him 12, show us that you're a smart fighter. Get it back. You dig? So that's just my take on it. You know what I mean?
You're asking me if I have my eye on the up and comers and the guys that are out there today.
Yes.
Was that question?
Yes.
Okay, go back to that question because I think we got cut off and I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I asked you if you watch boxing with a critical eye today. Really, you don't. But if you do have your eye on a fighter that you think might make some waves, do tell.
Right now, I couldn't pull any fighter out of any division because I haven't been paying that close attention. But the guys that are around there, and one of the guys that I think everybody avoids or should have gotten his due because he is more than deserving of the fights that he's had is Bud Crawford, man. Crawford at 47, like I don't know how come Canelo didn't fight him at 47. You know, he just beat who he just beat? He beat
Sean
Porter and is what's going on with Errol Spence? He's from down your guys' way. Is he fighting? Is he training?
Yeah, he got a fight coming up. He got a fight coming up against Dennis Ugas. And the winner of that fight is definitely
gonna fight Crawford.
Going to fight Crawford.
Because Crawford is one guy that I think should have gotten his roses already, and he's still out there.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Freddie. You was gonna say something, Freddie?
Yeah. What in the world is everybody making a big deal out of Crawford for?
There we go.
He's good, but he ain't all that. He ain't got no business being compared to any of the best or nothing. I mean, the guy, he bores me to death when I watch him fight. He's boring. He's not an action fighter. He sits back and waits and pit pats. I don't get it, you know. And they always talking like he can murder people. I ain't seen him do nothing. The last guy he beat, that guy been in the game 20 some odd years. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, who, you talking about Sean? Sean Porter?
Yeah, Sean Porter. Yeah, he's been around a long time.
No, Crawford been around
the same length of time, Freddie. Come on now. Come on.
Huh?
They've been around the same length of time. They grew up together in the amateurs, man.
Man, let me tell you something. I don't give a damn where they fought together. I know one thing. He ain't all that good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why everybody making this big deal about him and he ain't got shit. I mean, I can come back and beat his ass. Man, I can't believe somebody actually compared that punk ass motherfucker to me.
No!
Oh, here we go.
That ain't gonna work.
There you go.
That shit ain't gonna work.
They had him beat you, Freddie. ESPN had him beat you, Freddie.
I'll come out of retirement and beat that pussy ass nigga's ass.
Oh man, that
shit got me hot. You know what I'm saying? Somebody actually open him out to say some bullshit like that. And ain't no goddamn well, everybody who's anybody. Everybody.
Oh man.
Oh
man, Freddie.
Oh, man, I love Freddie, man. Oh my God. Well, let me ask you, Otis. Between Bud Crawford and Errol, that's the fight everyone's looking. Not to look past Ugas. Because Errol got to get past Ugas. That's a serious fight. But between Bud and Errol, who you got?
You know what, man? I would have taken probably Spence before the car accident, but like when he came back, did well, but I'm not sure if he's the same fighter. Like he hasn't, like from what I've seen from his comeback fight, you know, he's not back where he was. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think
a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that.
A lot of people say that, and I think Crawford, if they let him sit on the shelf a little bit longer and not get the fights that, you know, that he needs to get working, like Father Time's gonna catch up to that guy sooner or later. You know what I mean? So he's gonna start losing his way, because that's one thing you can't beat, man. Like Time's gonna catch up to all of us, and like being an athlete in the ring, like when that stuff starts to happen, I didn't see it in the Sean Porter fight, but like I think he should have been in those big fights long ago, years ago. He should have been in those fights.
And to add to what you're saying, we don't know what life will bring us. Like when you had your accident, you had no idea that was going to happen. And this is why these fights should happen immediately, because you never know what can happen. There could be another pandemic right around the corner right now for all we know. Yeah, and it could shut this shit down again. You know,
another
and
wave is going to come, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. So we need to give everyone their roses now, and as consumers, we need to get the fights that we want right now, because the business has people who support the sport talking like we actually have a vested interest in it financially, letting fights marinate. That's Don King and Bob Arum and Joe Goosen talk. That's not talks that we should be having. Letting fights marinate. That conversation used to be held behind the scenes. Why isn't fucking Hagler Hearns happening this date? Somebody behind the scenes like, no, let it marinate, let it bubble for a little more. We're gonna give it to him, let it bubble for a little while. But that was conversations was had behind the scenes. Now it's happening all over the goddamn place. And it's not, I don't qualify to say that. You know what I'm saying?
I think it comes down to the promoters, man, and the dollars and cents, and who's gonna make how much and what's the cut gonna be and all that. So it all has to do with the money, man. I think so. Some guys want more. Some guys think they don't deserve that much, or they want to be paid equally. They want a 50-50 split, and there's the pot has to be divvied up in many ways. The fighters, the two fighters, their promoters, both their promoters, and all that stuff's got to be worked out for them to come to an agreement. I think it all comes down to the split of whatever the pay-per-view, the earnings on the table, the guaranteed money, the promoter that's gonna be highlighting or co-promoting, all that shit takes away.
Some of these fighters today, Otis. Some of these fighters today are saying, "Why don't the fans fight them then?" You know what I mean?
Oh man,
dude, that's a real statement. Several fighters have said that. Tell the fans to go fight them.
You go fight them. That's what they said.
Yeah,
they said that. These heavyweights have said. Salute to Anthony Joshua. Yeah, you want to fight that? You go fight him then. I'm like, wait a minute. You're a millionaire. You get paid for this. You telling me? How about this? I'll go fight any heavyweight. You make it worth my while. Make it worth my while. I want retirement money because I can go in there and die. I'm not the professional athlete. I mean, I can fight, but I'm not a pro.
Disqualified. I'm gonna hit him in his nuts about 20 times. Like the other boy did, get disqualified. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting beat upside my head by no heavyweight.
Man, please.
Oh,
you got a 6'6", 250-pound muscle man telling fans you go fight him then. Come on, man, stop this crap. I mean, I'm the consumer, and this goes back to what we were saying earlier, Otis. We went from free fights to paying for HBO to paying $20 for a pay-per-view to $40 to $60 to $80, and now we're up to $100 on pay-per-views.
And they took Tuesday night fights off of TV.
And they took Tuesday night fights from us. And
And
Friday night fights from us.
And Friday night fights.
Took it right from us. So they giving us less and wanting more.
It's true.
They robbing
Otis.
us, man. They robbing us.
Otis, do you see why?
Game go.
Otis, do you see why we reach out to guys like you? You guys were the heroes.
Well, I appreciate
Every time
it.
you showed up, and you had a full-time job. You was a full-time pro, and you had a full-time job. Come on, man. It don't get no better than guys like you. Guys like Freddie Pendleton. You understand? It didn't get any better than that.
I appreciate you guys reaching out, but I got a jet right now, man. I know how much longer we got on here.
No, we good, brother. We good. Thank you so much, bro.
All right, man. You guys all one love. Here, you guys take care of yourself, and thanks for reaching out. I hope you guys
No doubt,
wish you all the best for 2022, and hopefully this pandemic is over. Hopefully, no other strains gonna come and keep us locked down again.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you know what, man? When you guys in Houston, right?
I'm in New York.
Me.
Okay, who's in Houston? Okay, I do some work
Anthony Houston,
with an ultimate fighting company called XMMA. They're doing a show over that way. Well, it's not in Houston. It's going to be in New Orleans, I think, April 3rd. So I know New Orleans is not that far from Houston. I got some people in Houston. I might head over that way and or have them come see me in New Orleans. How far is Houston from New Orleans? 2-3 hours? 4 or 5 hours drive?
Probably about 4 hours, probably. Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not
all
far.
Right. So,
but let me know, man. I'm in Houston.
If I come that way, I'll hook you up. I'll give you a call.
That's what's up, man. Otis, thank you, guys. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much.
Right, man. Thanks for having me on. You guys have a great one.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
All right, brother.
For me, all the best to you, man.
All right, you too, man. Appreciate, brother.
Take care, man.
Man, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. Stormy, bring her home, brother. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Well, everybody can find me right here on YouTube. Stormy B Man is the channel, and we are growing. We're doing some great things. I'm loving these collabs on Sunday evenings, man. And get a chance to meet a lot of these brothers from the game. And Freddie is a gem, man. Freddie is something.
Freddie boy.
Yeah, I love Freddie.
I still ain't come up with nobody for me to smack yet.
Oh man.
Hey, I think they're gonna be hard to find, Freddie. They're gonna be hard to find. Nobody want that smoke, man. But hey, I'm loving it, man.
So they talking about Crawford. Said I wish he would call me out. I'd slap the hell out of that joker.
Yo, let's get here. Let's get here to those 65 more subs, man. He's almost at 1K. Let's do it for him, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But that's what's going on. You know, Stormy B Man's the channel. I'm here on Sunday evenings with Drew and Trick Nolte and Freddie, and I'm enjoying this, man. Just stop by, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. It's some good things going down on Stormy B Man's channel. Appreciate everybody.
No doubt, no doubt. Trick, let them know, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Hey, Trick Nolte, man, on Instagram, Trick_Nolte. Anthony Carter on Facebook. Y'all hit me up, man, and I'm on here with Drew on Sunday night. Sometimes dropping this conversation with these legends, with the sensei and the killer down there, Freddie Pendleton. So,
no diggity doubt, man. No diggity doubt, man.
Always, man.
Appreciate you. And family, when you see these guests up here, 99.99999% of the time, damn near 100, that's Trick Nolte, boots on the ground, man. I look forward to hearing his calls, hearing his texts. I'm like, oh, who he got today? And we still ain't done. Every week is something new. You know what I mean? We always working. So when I put that Cash App in there, that's all him right there. Hit the brother up, show him your appreciation. He's out here working. And you know, he ain't got to be doing this. We actually doing this for the love of the sport. We really do. I mean, you guys, we get fighters on here from Tuesday night fights. Are you kidding me? This is shit we grew up on. And when I meant what I said, I watched that fight with Otis. I was doing homework watching that fight. I remember specifically doing homework watching that fight. Salute, Dr. Mark. Salute to you, bro. Salute to all the family. If I didn't say your name, I see y'all. Much love and appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Me, Trick Noty, Stormy B, and the legend Freddie, man. You're Freddie. Next week, same bad time, same bad channel.
Definitely.
All right, my brother. I'll talk to you.
All right.
Yeah. Yo, Bo Mac. Freddie out here hating on Bud. Man, Freddie, something else, man. With much love and appreciation to everybody, man. It's all about boxing. Y'all know, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm gonna be back in the morning in the AM, and the only good news. I remember saying twice. When we talking about boxing as it is of today, I need to be specific. We've been talking about boxing. It's never good news, but I have to be very specific. It's not good news with boxing as it relates to today. And I'm going to be beefing all week about the sport this week. Just stay tuned. But when we do have good conversations? On Sundays. When we're talking to guys like Otis and Freddie and when we reminiscing about Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights, the old pay-per-views, ABC boxing, NBC boxing. This is the refreshing conversation, family. You understand what I'm saying? So, look, man, tomorrow's going to be back to business. I'm going to be reading something on some website, and somebody's going to send me an email of an interview that someone did. They already did it already. I already got everything I'm talking about this week is already written out. And it's disgusting. It sucks. So by the time I get to Sunday, I'm refreshed talking actual boxing from when I used to watch it without a care in the world in the 90s and in the 80s. Ridiculous, man. That's all I got, Stormy. That's all you got, brother?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, man. Much love and appreciation in the Cash App, the Super Chat, everybody, man. I think the fight party should be on in a bit. I'm sleepy. I'm gonna go hit the hay. I'm tired.
Yeah, I gotta go to work.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Trick,
I'm
on
fumes, man. So
y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Pay for Excellence podcast. All right, brother. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Pay for Excellence podcast. That's grown folk talk. That's not a boxing channel. Trolls, bring your ass over so I can block you and get it out the way, you stalkers. I'll never understand you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Please stay away from me. Seriously. Because it's not going to work out for you. Yo, Bronx on deck. See you in the morning.
Move!